Hello, my name is Angelo Soto. I am the College Experience Support Specialist, and I'm here today with one of the College Experience Ambassadors, Tykwa Goshay, to discuss her educational path, journey to her career field, and motivations for participating in the program. Welcome, Tykwa, and thank you for being here with us today. Would you please tell us more about yourself?
Definitely. Good afternoon, everyone. Just like Angela said, my name is Tykwa. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran. I come starting in the beginning with a background in engineering. I was a welder, pipe fitter, metal fabricator, and firefighter. And then after the end of my contract, I switched over to healthcare. And I have a background in nursing, administration, management, and insurance. My degree for my bachelor's program is in health science with an emphasis in molecular biology. I'm an associate in general education, several licenses, and I'm also a published artist and playwright. There are two things I would like to give for advice. The first one is to study, fail, and succeed your way to the person that you want to become. I think it's very important to remember that you need to make mistakes as well as have successes to figure out what you want. A lot of times you'll have family and friends that'll say, well, we grew up with you, we know who you are, and they'll try to advise you into the path they think that you should take. That you find something that you are passionate about that can also combine with what you're good at. It's very important that you take the time to figure out what you'll take those electives, take those many classes so that you can find out that something you truly enjoy before you become a junior and senior. And now you got to go and back and switch degrees. Now you wasted all this money and all this time. So fail your way to success and don't be afraid to make the mistakes. That's what builds character. So you can get those experiences. They'll give you the best college experience possible.
And the thing that I wanted to highlight that you just said was don't be afraid to make those mistakes. In high school, knowing when I was in high school, I was so afraid to, be imperfect. And I think that's what kept me from some of those opportunities because I felt like, well, I'm going to fail anyways. Why even go out for those opportunities? But like you just said, you can't be afraid to fail. In order to succeed, sometimes you have to fail. Sometimes you need to fail to grow.
So what was first important to me is that I wanted to keep my options open. Whether you're domestic or global, the job market is constantly changing. There's new adaptations, new technologies and research, different ways of doing things. So that brings me to my next point. You also want to maintain relativity and not to be irreplaceable. You want to make sure that whatever path that you choose is something that you don't mind doing the research, because even when you get out of school, you're never going to stop learning. You're going to constantly have different perspectives, learn different cultures, the experiences of other people and their passions and how it relates to you, especially if you're the type that wants to leave a legacy. For me personally, I really enjoy traveling. I love my parents to death, but when I was 18, I was ready to go. So definitely, if you're into travel, look for opportunities where maybe like something that has to do with consultation that will broaden you up. So you're not just what I like to call theoretical versus practical. You want to have book smarts, but you also want to have practical life experiences. Because at the end of the day, your credentials are great for your education, but your experiences that are going to make you the asset and leader you need to be to your organization. School and college are kind of focused on two different things. So in high school, I had my usual courses like social sciences, math. Sorry, hate math. But and like English and geometry and history. But I wanted to have a variable perspective and immerse myself in culture early on. So I took classes like JROTC, which is your Junior Recruitment Officer Training Corps. It can be of any of the branches: Army, Air Force, Navy, or Marines. I actually was a bit of a do it all. I did Marines, Air Force, and Army. And then I did DECA, which teaches you business, management, marketing, how to speak to people, how to negotiate, teaches you how to kind of come to terms with different perspectives and learn how to make a compromise so that both parties can feel equally represented. I also took speech and debate because I believe that communication, especially articulating what you want as well as how you feel about certain subject, is very, very remarkable skill. Many people just spend so much time online. It's a lot different when things are conducted face to face. You want to make sure that you can represent what you want without feeling like you're being taken advantage of while also not speaking over the person. And then for college, little alternative path there. I had bioethics and genetics, of course, because it's my science. But one thing I found with the postgraduate programs is that you always want to go ahead and make sure that you stick out. You don't want to be just a 4.0 student that took all the very difficult classes and pre-med and physics and all that. They want to see that you can take care of yourself while also learning very difficult subjects. So I took piano and violin. I enjoyed the challenge of it. And then every time I learned a different scale or mastered a different song, it was a daily encouragement because I had a little success that day. So it's those little wins that kind of help you prepare and go ahead and through the midterms and then, hell week of finals.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Right now, I'm in my senior year in college, and I'm taking a couple classes that my advisor was like, "Yeah, you have a pick to take what you want." And I was like, "All right, well, what's gonna help me, but also expand my range?" And so right now, I'm enrolled in a criminal justice upper division course that talks about, sex crimes against children. And to me, I really, I always was interested in criminal justice, but that wasn't my major. And for me to expand on it, like you were saying, it just gives you more. It gives you more and it readies you for whatever is going to come your way. So I think expanding your knowledge and saying, hey, the subjects that you take now may not directly impact what you want to do, but it's going to have some effect on it. So thank you for your input on that.
About to tell you something you want to apply to your educational career as well as your professional and personal relationships. Remember this phrase: trust but verify. So if you send an email to your professors, if they say that your transcripts are in, something I learned the hard way, make sure they actually receive them. Make sure your financial aid packets are actually pretty good. Verify a conversation. My mom used to have this phrase: documentation beats conversation all day long. That will be your best friend. Another thing that I learned that was really important was always check multiple sources for information. Not everybody is up to date on the newest rule or regulation. You don't want to insult people's knowledge about what's going on, but definitely go back and make sure that the newest thing for prerequisites is actually up to date. If the teacher tells you, hey, you need to take biology 201, that that's actually correct. You don't need a prerequisite, so you're not repeating yourself as you go through. And just make sure that people understand what you're asking of them. And I found that asking them to repeat what I said to them, make sure they got exactly what was communicated.
And you know what's the best part is my mom actually used to say the same thing about trust but verify. That's a phrase that I never really thought about until I'm at this point where if I would have done a lot more verifying, then I might have could have ended up maybe avoiding more mistakes that I had. Because yes, you want to be trustworthy of people, but also you have to be trustworthy of yourself and you have to verify it yourself.
I got back from my military contract with the U.S. Navy. I went on 2 combat tours. And the very first piece of advice that I heard is something I'm going to give back to you guys. There used to be this public figure. His name was Michael Basin back in 2014. And he said something that was very prominent. He said that people usually die by the time they're 25, but they're not buried until they're 75. At first, it sounds a little morbid, but hear me out. What he meant by that is that most people spend majority the first quarter of their life chasing the dreams and accolations that people believe that they were supposed to do. And so they end up having their passions, they die out and they forget who they are. They lose their identity, their personality, their dreams and aspirations. But in their old age, around 75 was when they were actually buried. So my encouragement for you is to go ahead and make sure you stick with who you are, know who you are, learn it, and continue to grow. But don't ever, 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 ever give up on your dreams. It may not happen the way you expected it to, but so long as you don't quit on yourself and maintain the confidence that, yes, I may not have done it right the first time, but the second time I'll come back and do it better. Okay, now I know what doesn't work. This will work. That's going to make you bring yourself to success in time. So, live past 25, live past 75, but maintain your dreams and aspirations because that's what the true legacy is.
Thank you, Tikwa, for taking the time to meet with us today to share your journey and thoughts with our students. These videos will be very helpful as they try to navigate through their school and decide on their preferred post-secondary option. Do you have any final words for our students?
Definitely. This is a personal quote of mine. I've been saying this since about 7 years old, and it goes like this. The difference between people who dream and people who achieve is that people do. The difference between having a thought or just a dream or something that you would love to see fulfilled in life and the actual achievement and reality of what you've been thinking about. So you have to take action. You actually have to do something. Kind of like those old commercials, verb is what you do. It's very applicable in your life. So don't just think about something. Don't just wish it to happen. Do something about it. Get out there and do it.